Good morning. Show you what I'm going to do today, I believe. Goal is get this fireplace hooked up. Now, I bought this old wood stove at an auction here a while back. And basically I've got a big building here that I use as a wood shop and various stuff. I've got some kennels around here that this was an old greyhound farm. And so whenever I get retired, I'm probably going to run a kennel in here as a small side business. So I do have like actually central heat and air in this building, but obviously it's expensive to run propane in the wintertime. And wood is, well, you know the old saying, it'll heat you up 3 times, right? Once when you cut it, once when you sack it, once when you burn it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this up right here. Gonna sit down and move this old freezer out of the way, and it's gonna vent out of the wall right here and on up outside. I don't know how that's gonna go. I've never done one of these before, but we'll see how it goes, and I'll set the camera up and take you guys along with me. So basically, the reason I'm setting it up right here where I am is I want to be able to just carry firewood in directly from this door and just put it right in there. I could put it, I've got a room right over here that my wood shop is in, but I kind of have limited square footage in there, so I don't want to put the burner in there because that'll eat up some square footage I need. And then another thought is I bought a heat exchanger for it that I might be able to kind of poke a hole in this duct right here and turn the fan on, so I'm not using the HVAC necessarily at full capacity, but using the fan, and that heat exchanger will blow hot air into those ducts, and then I'll have hot air that's going everywhere else, and just obviously the heat that's off the cast iron stove itself. So that's why I picked this location. So now what I've decided is I think I want it oriented like this. I didn't really know how this went together, but all this is cast iron, and these are all individual pieces that are bolted together. So there's a bolt in each corner that holds it together, and then there's 2 on each side that hold it on. So I just hit everything with some PB Blaster. Really, I think what I want to do is I'm going to see if I can just release those 4 bolts that hold it on and turn it 180 degrees. That way this outlet is right there, and I could poke it through the wall right there and up to vent. Who knows how old this thing is and if it'll be able to come out, but check out the design on that. Pretty cool. There's some moose, a horse, some ducks. It's a pretty cool cast iron stove. I wonder how far it dates back. Okay, I got it off. Got that cleaned up a bit. This will have to be all vacuumed out and stuff. After looking at the bolts, we are, without a doubt, not reusing those. But I didn't break one, so that's good news. All right, just got this all vacuumed out. So now I need to put the bolts back in here on all 4 corners, and then I noticed when I vacuumed that it was missing these 2 bolts on either side. Those 2 are still in it, so I've got enough bolts. I'm going to get those put in there, and yeah, I guess go from there. I just went to Lowe's and got all the parts I think I needed for the vent. This project has taken a turn to another day just because I didn't have all the proper chimney cap and all that stuff I needed. So we're gonna go from there. two bottom bolts are different. I find something finally. Okay, here's what we have going on at this point with it. I know I've got a mixture of galvanized and black pipe. It was just kind of picking what they had. So new 5-inch to 6-inch there. Elbow, 6-inch pipe coming up to this heat exchanger, which I'll plug in right there next to the door. And then I'm going to run a 6-inch to 8-inch elbow that will poke out of the wall right there is my intention. I got to make sure that I don't have my cross beam right there. If I do, I'll potentially go get a longer piece. That's a 24. I could probably go with I don't know what sizes they come in. I assume a 30 and a 36. I went ahead and just zipped a couple of sheet metal screws in there already. I showed you the 2 screws that I put in here earlier. I went ahead and added to that joint and that joint. This is still wanting to rock a little bit right now just because I can't attach this because that's actually a cast iron piece. Once I get it all completely tied together, it won't move. So I've just rigged this up now to hold that in place. I'm gonna just screw that into the wall, and that way it'll keep this box from rocking. And then I'll get everything else fabbed up. All right, next update. I've slid this back away from the wall. It's leaning right there. I prematurely put that on there. I didn't need it, and that was just temporary anyways. But essentially what I've done is I've traced this circle right up there that I'm gonna have to cut out. And that's what this will fit through. So that will fit up there. Also obviously on the back side too, or the outside of the building, the match of that will go. And then that 8-inch pipe right there will attach to that, go through that hole. This right here is not the correct length. That's okay. I've got some old 6-inch here that I can probably cut, but essentially what I'm trying to do is, this is a post frame barn. So picture there's posts that are coming up like every 8 inches, and they run horizontal 2x4s to put the tin on. I'm avoiding one of those 2x4s. If you go to the outside, you can see where the 2x4s would be along those nails. So this will be up top and come out. All right, I just bored a 5/8 hole right there so I can get my jigsaw and cut that hole out. Well, like any good plan, it did not survive first contact. What I didn't think about is basically all the doors and windows I have on this side of the building, there'd have to be a 2x4 run across there, which is what that is. There's definitely going to be another one right there because that's where all the tin's nailed. So looks like this was unavoidable. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch holes through right there on from this side to the outside, then so I can line that stencil back up and then cut it from the other side. And yeah, I think I'm committed at this point. Not much else I can do. Well, there's a hole. Use the old angle grinder for that. I'll get the reciprocating saw in there and cut that wood out. All right, here's how this looks now on the inside. There's how it looks on the outside. This will go in. All right, we're getting there. Now we're doing the finishing touches with my carpenter, Lincoln. We got levels on there coming up. Really, it's just fun to record him because he's been struggling to get the screw in for about 10 minutes, but that's what dads do, is pick on their teenage boys. Well, there you go. I was timing you. It took 40 seconds.
I just needed a bigger screw.
All right, day 3. Obviously, we're only working on this an hour or so each day, but we're done now to the point that we're gonna try it. I just had to get my son out here to help me with it. So, got this pushed back in, 5" to 6" up through the heat exchanger. I had to cut this pipe to get it to be the right length to fit through there. 6" to 8". I got strapping on the inside to hold that. Basically, I was concerned with the wind rocking this and the whole thing going kind of back and forth. And then from the outside, got that strapping on, so it's nice and pretty, being it's two-tone. That's what we'll call it, two-tone. We'll see how bad it rusts and if it needs to be replaced in the near future, but I think it'll be all right. We're gonna clean up a little bit and then try to start a fire and see if we get smoked out of here. So we got it all installed. I'm still gonna put up some insulation in here, and I'll run a piece of tin back here and a piece of tin back here to blow that heat kind of off the plywood and such, but I think it's gonna work. I'll make another video on like how I heat this thing up, probably do like a 2-hour update on it. Starts at X degree in here and it ends up with X degree, but I'm happy with the way it turned out. If you guys watched this till the end, thanks for bearing with me. This is the first video I've ever tried to edit, so I'm sure it was horrible and painful, but I do appreciate it. And I hope that we can bring you some more kind of content on what we do around our farm. If nothing else, this will be fun for us to look back and see the progress that we've made throughout the days, weeks, months, years, whatever it may be. But thank you guys, and Happy New Year.